Hello everyone, it is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with Afreeca World. This is going to be the second match. The first match, for those of you guys unaware, was Hero versus Keen. I recommend you guys go check that out. But we're going to have ourselves a fantastic Terran versus Zerg on our hands. I'll introduce the players. Spawning down in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's Elazer. And spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, it's Blazer's Bunny. A lot of enunciation on that, but yeah, so it's awesome to be able to cast this. For those of you that don't know, Afreeca World is a bi-weekly tournament that I put together. Unfortunately, my power has been out the past 4 days. If you watched the previous video, I already said that. So I'm basically going to be casting this like I would cast normal replays, except I'll be casting all the games sort of in session. So I'll be casting this entire best of 5, Elazer versus Bunny, which is going to be absolutely fantastic, I imagine. So this should be a great match right here. And yeah. But yeah, and also it's important to say that Falcon Paladin did cast this live when it was. I'm casting from the replays right now. I don't actually know the results, so it's going to be as much of a surprise for you as it is to me. I somehow managed to avoid them. But yeah, so it's very exciting to be able to cast this. A little bit different format than usual. But yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning on in. I'm not necessarily going to go at 100% like I cast the earlier series, and I did that and I sort of threw my voice out. So going to be a bit of a casual, even though it's a replay cast, it's going to be more of like one of just the stream marathon casts that I'm doing here. So standard build coming out of Elazer, standard build coming out of Bunny, which means that me going on that tangent was completely fine. But yeah, so we'll see how this is going to work out between these two. Elazer recently went to Korea for practicing. I believe he's been there for, say, 2 weeks at this point, it's safe to say. And so he's probably getting used to being there, but of course it's still a new country. So he's been practicing on the ladder, as have a lot of other foreigner pro gamers. I imagine he's going to try out for the GSL. Meanwhile, Bunny just keeping on. And guys, there's one thing that I actually want to note about Bunny is that he's got other responsibilities. I found out that Bunny actually has another job that he also works in part to being an incredibly talented pro gamer. So that's just something that's really impressive. He comes in with his Reaper here, working away on Elazer's Lings. Elazer keeping those alive as long as he can. I was about to say making sure none of them die, but as I say that, the Reaper has managed now to kill 2 of them. Gets out though, and that basically means the Lings did their job. They're basically glorified meat shields for the first few drones that are out. Protects them from that Reaper, but of course now the Queen is out. So metabolic boost on the way for Elazer, getting up that speed, just mining out of the 1 gas. That's the sort of, alright, maybe I'll invest into some other sort of tech later on gas. Or I can react to whatever's coming my way gas. For now, though, Bunny just going for the very standard opening. Although, as I say that, yeah, he's going for a standard starport opening. I was just curious because he queued up another Marine, which sometimes indicates Hellbats and Medivacs, but so far, he canceled that Marine to make a tech lab, so. Looks like it will be that Hellion Banshee play, most likely. Meanwhile, Elazer just droning up. He's one of the best players at this, in my opinion. Elazer, he's so good at just macroing up, getting to such a healthy economy, and taking no damage while doing that. Like, Elazer, keep in mind, guys, he's the current European champion in Afreeca World, and he's going up against the current Korean champion. The fact that he's in Korea, no longer in Europe, means that we get to have this cool head-to-head. But no, like, he's so good. And casting his games in Afreeca World Europe, he just shut down so many sort of aggressive plays. He's just so good at seemingly not dying, which is a pretty crucial part of playing StarCraft 2. Now, Cloak on the way, this Banshee, gonna be on the way out, but Cloak starts. You have room to get out the Viking, and that's exactly what Bunny does. He's gonna be searching for Overlords. Currently, 1 Overlord has died. Now, Elazer didn't actually get to spot too much. That Marine, I mean, that Overlord was hanging out over here, but it did get picked off, so that's very nice for Bunny. Now he's coming in with his Hellions, he's poking and prodding. There's lots of Queens in position, but drones are forced to run. Elazer making sure not to lose any, really, though. A Queen's getting into position to try and save this Overlord, but it's not quite running, so this Viking will be able to get it. No transfuse going down there. That Queen didn't quite have the energy, and the rest of these other Queens were over here, so that Viking getting the 1 Overlord is kind of the bare minimum you want to get. The first 2 Zerg Overlords are sort of gimmies. We'll see if he's able to get this one. I have doubts that this Viking is going to be in trouble if he chases after this. And Bunny losing that would be unfortunate. He keeps it alive. I mean, the one Viking, not the most important thing in the world, but hey, it's StarCraft. You never want to give away any units. And yeah, look at that. That Viking lands, but he's taking a fair bit of damage. So I don't imagine he's going to get too much done. But this push is coming in for Bunny. He's going for a Hellbat Banshee attack, and he's just really committing to the front right now. There's one Spore Crawler that's going to be very important for Elazer, but these Hellbats are going to be closing the distance. These Queens get bounced around by that grenade, but most importantly, they're backed into a corner here. Roaches are now popping out, but Hellbats are getting a lot of face time with these Queens, and the Queens really need to deal with the Banshee. So far, the Spore Crawler's doing a good job sort of zoning it out. Queens are being worked on. That Banshee's still alive though, and now since it's out of that Spore Crawler range, it's going unopposed. Elazer's forced to run his drones here, and suddenly these Hellbats are just working away on this. 12 drones go down. The Roaches are now facing off with these Hellbats, but looks like the Hellbats might actually win out here. Elazer not pulling his Roaches back, so he's actually going to be losing those, and the reason for that was that he was going for a counterattack, but if we take a look at this, yeah, that counterattack did not get done what it needed to. So a bit of a fast game there on Cerulean Fall, the first map, but we're going to get on into the next one. I have no idea how this series plays out, so we're just going to quickly hop on out of that replay, hop on into the next one. It's a little unusual, guys, but you sometimes have to make concessions, you know, when you sometimes have to make concessions when you're casting StarCraft. If your power's been out 4 days and you're trying to catch up like I am. But no, I mean, I didn't necessarily need to cast these, but I love putting these on my channel. It's nice, consistent content. But yeah, here we are. Like I said, we're just hopping right on into the next game. So it's this best of 5. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side of the map. He's found himself down 0-1. It's Ago's Elazer. Forgive me on the pronunciation for that. I'm not sure if it's pronounced literally just like Ago or whether it's Ago. Because, you know, it's hope that doesn't come off wrong, but it's a Polish team, so they have their pronunciation. And spawning up the top left-hand side of the map, it's Blazer's Bunny. They also, for Elazer joining, I really should know because I watched the video. His team, they put out a really cool video of Elazer, like really hyping up that he joined their team. He's their first StarCraft 2 player, which is absolutely awesome. Now, as far as this game goes here, nothing cheesy, nothing like that, which I definitely love to see. Like, you guys can talk about your Serals, you guys can talk about your innovations or your beyonds, but guys like Bunny and Elazer, they can have some absolutely insane matches when it's just nice and clean and then they sort of meet up and go head to head. So I'm really excited to see how this one's going to play out. Of course, I was excited for the last game too, and Bunny really just killed Elazer. He wasn't quite prepared for that. And I mean, you got to be prepared for that Korean Terran aggression of your Elazer, right? So maybe he needs to change things up a little bit, go for Roaches a little bit sooner, something like that. Maybe an extra Spore Crawler would have even helped him out a lot. His Queens would have been able to stay out and not been forced back by that Banshee. Maybe even just different Spore Crawler positioning. Of course, there's a reason why Bunny goes for that build. It's very lethal, and in that case, it did kill Elazer. Now, we'll see how Bunny's going to play this one out. Kairos Junction, a bit of a different map. Definitely a good one for tank pushes. And we're still sort of figuring out how comfortable players are on maps like this. It's not the worst one for Terran in the world. And same goes for Zerg. Now, the bases are a little bit spread out for Zerg, but if there's anyone like Elazer, he's very good at his defense. Maybe not to Hellbat attacks in that last game, but just like his harassment defense is pretty darn good. Now, we're seeing this Reaper come on in. Got 2 Lings in the last game. We'll see how many it's going to get in this one. First Ling's being worked on. Elazer pulls those 2 back, but these other Lings are buying time here. Drone's being worked on. Gonna have to transform that into an extractor if he wants to keep it alive. Of course, wants to cut that corner and not spend those minerals, but oh, that was dicey. That Reaper was really looking for it. Oh man, that Reaper jump. That was quite the jump there by that Reaper. Didn't expect him to go up so soon, but Elazer keeps that drone alive. So far, I believe it's just literally just the 1 Ling that's died, so the odd number of 31 resources have been lost in that top left corner. A little bit for the extractor cancellation, a little bit for the 1 Ling. Now Hellion's on the way for Bunny, Starport on the way. We'll see, looks like he's gonna be opening up pretty darn similar here. Of course, it just looks the same. It can be something completely different, but no, that last build worked out pretty darn well for Bunny. It's the very standard Terran build in TvZ lately. Reaper's coming on in. Sees the queen, hops on out. Then Elazer getting up his third base, going for a lot of drones. So I mean, yeah, just once again opening up in a standard macro fashion. The first two Hellions are gonna cross the map. And I don't know if it just makes Bunny so bold, but like if my Hellions don't move out, guys. I just say that because there's this bit of downtime, but like someone like Bunny just sends his Hellions right across the map, which is something to note. Whereas me, I've died to a few too many Ling run-bys, so I make sure those Hellions always stay back. But Bunny just, he knows the timings and everything, so keeping these two Hellions back just to in case there is that Ling run-by. Zergs love to find holes in play or potential opportunities. Now, this Viking's going to shut down this Overlord, which will deny Elazer scouting. If you have sort of queued in here, it's pretty similar to the last build, except it looks pretty much identical from Elazer's point of view. It looks pretty similar from Bunny's point of view, however, the cloak has been delayed a little bit just to get up a very fast third command center. However, a Ling made it in for Elazer, and he actually spotted the third command center. That's pretty darn huge for him. Bunny, he's not committing to any crazy Hellbat attack or anything like this. He's stopped Hellion production, and Elazer scouted this, which is so important for Elazer. Now the Viking's looking for this Overlord. We'll see if he's able to get it. Reaper can maybe bounce the Queens, but I think they should be able to save this. That Viking does get shoot away, but it looks like Bunny's Hellions may be thinking of diving on in. However, Elazer with a big Ling counterattack. Here we go. He didn't even have that Overlord to spot, but he just knows the timings. Those Lings run on in, and suddenly SCV's forced to fight versus Zerglings. Never a good feeling for Terran. They're running as fast as they can. 4 have died so far. Looks like these units will get cleaned up. 5 SCVs dying in total is a nice bit of damage for Elazer, just for really a handful of Lings, an insignificant amount. And look at that. He's already got more Lings lurking in the shadows, waiting to dive on in. Now, these guys are a little bit early here. They're going to run on in, but quickly turn around. But Elazer, he knows that Bunny's macroing up behind this. Spotting that third command center with that one Zergling that got up to that was absolutely huge, and maybe that's something Bunny needs to look at. If we're being very analytical of how these guys are playing, of course, Bunny could have potentially put his command center on the right side, but then you never know when Overlord can dive on in. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things that happens. And it's not like Bunny's in any real trouble or anything like that, as this is a macro play from him. It's not like he committed to any significant aggression then backed off. These Hellions find these Lings. They get off a decent couple of shots. Reaper throws his grenade. Lings are forced to stop pursuing these. Now the Vikings actually come back out once again. Wants to get his second Overlord that Vikings are usually due. And it looks like he will find it. So, a bit unfortunate for Elazer. Actually supply blocks him a little bit there. Now suddenly a scan goes down. We're seeing creep tumors are being worked on. You really want to get that one too of your Bunny, but he doesn't actually get that, so that's nice for Elazer, that creep tumor staying active. Hellions trading with the Queens the best of their ability, but Bunny, he's really just focused on this follow-up. He's getting up his bio, he's got his 1-1 on the way, but he's actually going for a rather early move out. He's got his 2 medivacs coming, his tanks, so he's just really crossing this map, and the base-to-base distance on Kairos Junction is not that big. It looks fairly large as a map, but it's not that big, and suddenly I was talking about tank pushes on this map. We're seeing the first tank roll on up for Bunny here. Elazer's just saying enough. He's not going to give him the time, and suddenly he's diving right on top of this, but with the medivac support, the Marines seem to be staying alive. The tank's being worked on, but it just took a bit of damage and stays alive, so Elazer's Lings that were all suddenly tossed onto this are no longer here to help him make the defense. Bunny's stimming on in with these Marines, a lot of transfuses going down for Elazer, and there's a fair bit of transfuse so he can keep these units alive a decent amount of time. And Bunny's units, they don't actually have that much health, so they can be whittled down. This attack will eventually falter out unless it's properly reinforced. Queens are doing the best, but while Bunny's army is becoming weaker, so is Elazer. He's really running out of transfuse, and what else does he have? He's got 22 more Lings on the production tab, but currently only 2 Zerglings out for the time being. His 1-1 is about to finish, but Bunny already has his, so every fight that Bunny takes right now is absolutely huge for him. A few Lings trickling in here and there, and I think Bunny may have actually just done it. He's found himself in a fantastic spot behind these minerals. Ling's going to be getting on top of the tanks, but reinforcing Marines, keeping them safe. Queens do pick off one of the tanks there, but suddenly there's just nothing left for Elazer, and suddenly it's looking like Bunny's going to be going up against 2-0 versus the European Afreeca World Champion. Fantastically done by Bunny. GG gets called. Just a strong push there. Elazer not quite ready for these strong, aggressive plays. And as we load on into the next game, which we're going to do right away as soon as we can, also, pay attention, guys. Bunny is in Bronze League, but do not believe those lies. Yeah, as we load on into this, Elazer, he's suddenly down 0-2 versus Bunny. I mean, Elazer could be giving up his Afreeca World title here. Now, this man spawning up the top right-hand side of the map, both these guys relatively new to their team, but this guy's really representing as well, is Blazer's Bunny. What's that say? Blazer Coin Esports. Oh yeah, they're really sponsored by a lot of cryptocurrency teams or sponsors that I noticed for his team, which is cool. And now spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's Elazer playing for Ago Esports. I don't know the proper pronunciation, and the damage has already been done for this series, but I'll find out at some point, guys, on the pronunciation of that team, because I'm sure I'm not done casting Elazer while he's on this team. Now, Elazer opening up standard. Once again, he's a very standard player, but he's got to be doing something to prepare for these attacks, and I mean, it's not like he under-defended there or anything. I mean, there were Banshees lurking out. Maybe he was supply blocked or something at Overlord. Died to that, but died to that Viking, and maybe that threw him off. So Elazer just not having enough to defend that attack, and it's just that small rush distance. Like Bunny, his Marines crossed the map in like 10 seconds, and they're suddenly at Elazer's third with a tank set up. Maybe Elazer needed to kill those rocks beforehand if he could manage it. It's always tough to say. Now, as far as this game goes, once again, another straight up opening coming out of these guys. Bunny's just been hitting these crisp timings that Elazer hasn't been able to stand up to. Blue Shift is a bit of an older map in the pool, so it's been around a while, so Elazer should be very comfortable on it. Of course, same goes for Bunny, and we'll see what sort of trick he's going to pull out versus his opponent in this game. As far as this build goes, Reaper on the way, Marine follow-up. Bunny doesn't go for the SCV Scout if we're being, once again, analytical. Some Terrans do, some Terrans don't, just to confirm that pool timing. Instead, Bunny just follows it up with the 1 Marine. This is really safe against like any 16 pool or anything like that if Elazer was trying to get some early licks in, but really the only thing that this 1 Marine can't stand up to, as long as you control right and aren't completely caught off guard, is like a 12 pool or something earlier than a 16 pool, that's for sure. Now this Reaper working away on these Zerglings. Elazer doing that dance once again. No drones have died so far this series, so Elazer does fine in this stage of the game. He's now microing back with these Lings. Hasn't actually lost a Ling yet. Very, very good control out of the Polish Zerg. And he's got his third base up on the way already very, very quickly. Now Bunny will go confirm that third base timing. Elazer just getting up his speed. Once again, that 1 drone in the gas, so no crazy plays or anything like that planned. Now, maybe Elazer, I mean, he got 5 SCVs with that run by. I'm thinking back on the previous game. He committed like 16 Lings, got 5 SCVs. Of course, some of them also died in the defense, but then tried another run by, but didn't really get too much done. And I mean, yeah, like it's, I think we'd have to go over that replay really to see what happened in that game. But like I said, new slate here. Bunny though, new slate, same build, doesn't matter. He's now floating his barracks down, and it looks like he's going to be searching for an Overlord. He's made his 2 Marines, and he's actually going to find no Overlords. The Overlords for Elazer, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you notice, these guys are all on Elazer's side of the map. They're actually making like a beautiful vision line for him, so he's not going to be completely caught off guard by anything. But that barracks flies out for Bunny, and he's really searching for these Overlords. But Elazer has adjusted his play, knowing that there's something like knowing that there's these Vikings that have been coming out in the previous games. That barracks gets seen. Bunny was just looking for it. This leans towards a potential more mech play, of course, since your main bioproduction building is floating around for Bunny. Elazer, of course, can't completely write that off, but just casually, by the way, Bunny's going for a battle cruiser rush. If you guys have been following the StarCraft 2 meta, it's been a beautiful time for you dirty Terrans out there, as Terrans have been loving to go for their battle cruiser rushes lately. And there it's on the way for Bunny. The 1 drone on the way, or died to these Hellions, but nothing too significant. So good defense from Elazer so far. He's getting up his spores, which will help deal with the BCs. Building up a high queen count, very important for dealing with battle cruisers. But we'll see how the Terrans are going to utilize this. And when I say Terrans, I mean Bunny. Terrans in general lately have been They've been sort of finding out the best ways to harass with the battle cruisers. There's really nothing too consistent that we've seen so far. But yeah, we'll see what Bunny's able to get done. Ooh, bit of a misrally on the Hellions there. Quickly fixes that though, as he's just producing more and more Hellions. So going to be that sort of Hellion battle cruiser play. Elazer's on the way for Elazer. He's starting up a Roach Warren, starting up his Carapace. He's really not 100% sure what Bunny's going for here, when really it's just battle cruisers, Hellions, into a standard, you know, bio follow-up. And the worst part is, guys, this really is standard. And when I say worst, that's just all sarcastic. I mean, it's just insane. This is the meta we're in, a battle cruiser rush, something you'd never thought you'd see. And there we go, that battle cruiser, that red outline shows up, and suddenly the BC's there a second later. Bunny's still just sharking around with this for now, or just starting to shark around with it, I should say. There's a Spore Crawler in position though, so he's actually playing it very passively, and it looks like he's just gonna hang out for now. He's not really microing this. Gonna get a Yamato cannon off now that that's done. That can pick off one queen. He's got to be careful. Since he teleported in, that means he cannot teleport out, which means the battle cruisers are always vulnerable. Now Hellions are looking to dive on in towards the third base. Elazer has Lings in position, a few Hellions out. These Hellions not being paid attention to for a second there. They do get surrounded. They will escape. They trade out with a Roach. They trade out with a few Lings. The battle cruiser's still alive. Gonna find itself an Overlord, which is always nice. And meanwhile, Bunny just getting up his third base. That's already done. 1-1 on the way. Elazer on his side of the map, getting up Roach Warrens, a Spire, or getting up Roaches, pardon me, a Spire. That's not correct for a second, I was thinking. Battle Cruiser kills off an Overlord, supply blocks the Elazer. He's got 4 Overlords on the way now. 5, 6, he's making a lot of Overlords, afraid of that supply block. Now this third base battle cruiser is going to begin working away on it, but Roach is now moving across the map. However, with these Marines and Hellions, I think should be able to clean this up. The Hellions may actually die. The battle cruiser forced to teleport back for Elazer. These Roaches with just enough health to be a nuisance, just trading out with these Marines on their low health. So Elazer really just trading out there, but he does see that Bunny is tacking most likely into bio. He's making more and more Roaches. Elazer is not a guy who's afraid to make Roaches. He's now got his 4th base on the way. I think spreading creep down here is very, very important. I understand wanting to save your energy for transfuses versus battle cruisers, but Elazer's creep has been delayed a little bit, and so this base on the right going to be a bit vulnerable. Elazer's now starting his +2 Carapace, which will greatly help out his massive Roaches, but Bunny is also going to have his 1-1 done, so that'll be nice for him. And it looks like he's actually going for a tank push. This is a pretty standard position here for Terran to go for tank drops, but I think Elazer should be able to shut that down. I say should, and that's because he's got a pretty good number of Roaches, 21 Roaches in total, 6 Queens, and Bunny's actually deciding to back off, and I was wondering where the rest of those Roaches are. They're actually busy in a counterattack. The third base of Bunny is going to be under fire now. SCVs are forced to evacuate. Elazer's coming back, or Bunny's coming back with his units here. As Roaches, they're going to have to eventually run away. They're actually going to trade out here, which is pretty bold. They're going to be trying to focus down that tank. They're getting caught up on the bio units. That tank will die for a pretty high number of Roaches. They trade out the best they can with everything else. That was a decent timing for Elazer, as Bunny's 1-1 hadn't quite finished up before that. But now Elazer, he is going to have to invest in more units to make a potential defense happen. He's got up a decent number of Roaches, 16 already. He's made 4 mutas. That's all he can afford, making another 2 on the way. So these mutas, they can definitely harass. Bunny doesn't have missile turrets, so he will be punished by these if Elazer can get into a good position. But it is always still concerning if you're a Zerg player staying on Roaches as your main defense component. He's also getting into Lings though, so he's not completely staying on them. +2 Carapace on the way, +1 melee, so he is going to have Banelings as an option to defend, so it's going to be like Roach, Baneling. Another Roach counterattack's moving out. We'll run into this battle cruiser though. A drop's being planned for Bunny. I'm not sure if Elazer knows for this. Might just be able to cancel the 5th base, but some Roaches now running in towards the 3rd base, but there's plenty of bio to shut this down. Mutas are now flying across the map. They're chasing some Medivacs. We'll see if that's the best use for Elazer. He's now maybe going to try and get a tank, but the Marines are responding. Will he get that tank? I'm sure he wants to, but he does decide to back off, and as a matter of fact, Elazer not getting too much done, and actually, losing pretty much all of those mutas, and when I say all, it was really 2 mutas, which is a pretty big chunk of them at this point since he has a small number. But 5th base being canceled here, or at least killed, we have yet to see. The main base being dropped, that base was canceled, but looks like the spawning pool itself may be going down. Mutas are coming on in to deal with these Medivacs. The spawning pool is being kept alive. Banelings are rolling on in, so Elazer will clean this up, but not without his scrapes and bruises. 2-2s on the way for Bunny. He's just teching up behind this. And when I say teching, I really just mean macroing. He's getting up 3 more barracks, a Thor on the way, another command center, and soon he's going to be hitting this pretty strong 2-2 push. Elazer, he's invested in these mutas, but they haven't got too much done. His 5th base, it was cancelled. And he's going to be playing this sort of Lingbane Muta style, but there's already double Thor production on the way out for Bunny. He's going to have 2-2, which is going to help him out tremendously. These mutas, they're going to run on into these Marines. Elazer is paying attention, though. Very, very important. He can't really afford to make mistakes like that. He's now got Lings queued up for a counterattack. They're going to be running in, but Bunny hasn't been moving out yet, so he's got more than enough units here to defend. Those Lings are routed. Now Elazer, he's got these mutas out. He's going to be looking for something moving into the natural, but there's going to be a Thor popping out in a second. He's going to look maybe for an add-on, some SCVs binding the gas, but for now the turret doing a good job dissuading these mutas from coming on in. Now Thor pops out, picks off one of the mutas, and this is where it gets real scary. The Thors really do help out aid tank pushes. There's only 4 tanks for Bunny, but that is plenty versus what Elazer has, and Elazer's really got to be panicking a little right now. He knows that this attack is coming. He's got to be investing in pretty much, I think, as many banelings as you can, and to try and knock this army down. Elazer's being careful, but he does lose a muta there. So despite pulling back, he is taking his losses, and Bunny's coming on in. He's canceled this 5th base once already. It's finished up, so there's going to be no cancel this time. But look at this, a massive counterattack for Elazer. It's getting on into Bunny's base, and this is actually absolutely huge. Lings getting on in towards this 3rd base, going to be picking off the defensive tank there. Production for Bunny may be able to clean this up, but he's actually just diving on towards the 5th base while this is going on. Elazer's being baited into a fight. We'll see if it's a good one. This could be good. Banelings are rolling forward right now. However, a lot of them are nullified by the good splits of Bunny. Most of the army of Bunny is getting cleaned up, though, so this is pretty darn good for Elazer. His 3rd base is still under fire. Bunny, he's had SCVs running all around. He's had Lings in his bases. He's down to 56 SCVs. Elazer's continuously pushing on out. He's going to try and catch these tanks. The Medivac should, in theory, be able to evacuate these, but Elazer may just be looking to roll Bunny over here, and we'll see. Tanks need to be lifted up to keep them alive, but is there going to be enough production coming on in to push Elazer back? And at the end of the day, there is. So this is important for Bunny. He managed to stifle or just stop bleeding out there. Now, the 4th base on the way for Bunny, and when I say on the way, it's getting up. It's turning into that planetary fortress. Drilling Claws on the way, so that's going to be the follow-up. He's got that double factory. Looks like there's a potential Baneling run by, but Bunny, good reaction, keeping those SCVs alive. The 5th base for Elazer was canceled once again. Elazer's trying to double expand, well, I guess just expand to the north at this point. Tanks are being focused down by the mutas. Elazer's taking an engagement. This isn't half bad for him, but the muta count's starting to wear thin. The Marines for Bunny is starting to look a little bit too much. Elazer's engaging on this. He's not retreating, and he actually just taps on out, and Bunny takes the 3-0. All right. So we're going to be having ourselves the Terran versus Terran finals. It's going to be Keen versus Bunny, which is going to be a real exciting match. Keen 3-0'd Hero, Bunny 3-0'd Elazer, which is fantastic. Now, thanks to you guys for tuning on in. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe, and make sure to check out the best of 7 for the finals of this tournament. I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.